Hello everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. Hey, it's me, Captain Logan. It'd be weird if somebody else was hosting, and as always, my chat moderator and producer, my son, Jason.
That's me.
How you doing, Jason?
Doing pretty good.
I feel like I haven't seen you all day, even though we live in the same house and we homeschool, and I have seen you today.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, I haven't seen you in the past, 2 hours.
Well, that's true. But even before that, not a ton. I was working all day today, cramming for a show that ultimately we're going to have to put off till next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Austin and I still weren't able to get all the reading done for Request. It's a pretty beefy maxi series, and we were both working real hard to get it done. And then finally we decided, well, let's make sure and give this its due and make sure that we've read it, thoroughly well enough. And so, anyway, that's Tom King's Danger Street. I'm not going to tell you how I feel about that yet, but we're going to talk about that next week now, and the hope is to make up for it with a second Request. But we'll do an extra one somewhere, hopefully. Anyway, so apologies. I forget who requested that, but apologies to the requester there and to folks that were looking forward to that show. But I'm doing so much streaming this week, it's going to kind of make sense to just do an extra show next week anyway. So real quick, I'll just lay out the schedule. By the way, welcome everybody. Good to see you. Tonight, after this show, we're going to go ahead and do Geekvolution After Dark over on Patreon now, since I'm not doing the Request show. Since it's been a couple weeks since we've done one of those. I called up Brandon last minute. He's available, so he and I and Austin are going to do that at 10 o'clock tonight, so it'll be a little while after the end of this show. So if you're not... Yeah, thanks, Jason. We'll get you on one of those at some point and do a no swearing, not
or at least not super...
less raunchy
graphic.
One. Yeah. You can thank Brandon for that. But anyway, patreon.com/geekvolution, $2 tier allows you to come in and hang out with us even longer, half an hour, 45 minutes after this show. Apologies for the earthquake upstairs. We're in Kansas, the earthquake capital of the United States. When you have 6 kids, though, it makes your house the earthquake capital of the neighborhood.
Of the world.
Yeah, well, at least the neighborhood.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to be too grandiose about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so real quick, laying out the schedule for the weekend, because I'm busy. I'm still doing tons of stuff here on the channel. So we got this show, and then After Dark. Then tomorrow night, we're doing, at 9 o'clock Central, the Superhero Rewind commentary on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So pop in for that if you're so inclined, and then get up with us on Saturday morning if you want to watch a bunch of Smallville, because John and I are going to be finally getting into Season 6. We're going to do the first half of the season there. We're not doing the full 24-hour streams anymore because that was madness, and I guess 39 years old was the magic number for I can't quite do that anymore, because I started to get really sick on the last one, so we cut it off at 12 hours. We came back the next week, did the other 12 hours. I'm not sure when the second half will happen yet because I'm not going to be available the weekend after, but we'll do it as soon as possible. But the first 12 episodes, so it'll be plenty of Smallville for you regardless. The first 12 episodes from 10 o'clock to 9 or 10 o'clock on Saturday. Pop in for any or all of that. Come hang out with us. It will be a good time. We'll watch 6th season, which is a pretty mixed bag, but that's the season that introduces Green Arrow, who's one of the fan favorite and great characters in that show, and it gives us the Zoners, the Phantom Zone stuff, and the really bizarre Lex and Lana marriage, which is where the whole thing kind of falls apart. But I don't know. It's interesting, and it'll be fun to go back and revisit that because I haven't seen at least the second half of that season in a real long time. So anyway, come hang out with us. We're gonna watch some Smallville. In the meantime,
Oh boy.
tonight we're going to take your questions as we always do, particularly in the second half. And at any point you want to ask us something or there's a topic you want us to tackle, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount that guarantees that we'll talk about your topic. And we want to say thanks so much to anybody who ever will do that. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for keeping the train moving here on Geekvolution. It's the best way, well, it's one of the best ways to support the channel. Obviously Patreon as well. And you can get questions in through Patreon also. We open every episode now of the Captain Logan Show with a Patreon question, and sometimes we answer others throughout the show as well. And once again, just the $2 tier allows you to put in one of those. Did you just remember? You've got to pull up the questions.
Yeah, I mean, I had them pulled up, but I just, when you said that, I was like, oh yeah,
You've been the mod for like a month now. I feel like you should probably know what the... Okay,
well, I mean, I reminded you last week, so you get to remind me this week.
Last show, I did not remember that we opened with a Patreon question. We're going to have some fun segments tonight. As always, we're going to do some news. We're going to start by talking about, real briefly, I don't know that I'm going to have a whole lot to say about this, but I guess the biggest news in the superhero movie, or superhero screen milieu, if you will, over the last couple weeks is that Ultron is going to be returning with James Spader once again in the new White Vision show. So we'll talk a little bit about that and how we feel about that choice. And I've got a few other little news items as well. We'll do that after the Patreon question, and then Jason will have a segment for us a little bit later. He'll be doing some little mini reviews, and then at the very end of the show tonight, I'll go ahead and announce what our actual segment is going to be. We're going to be taking calls from the audience again, which I did a few weeks ago for my birthday stream, and it was such a good time. I want to make sure that we're doing that occasionally here on this show. So we're going to take at least one, if not a couple of calls, just right at the very end to finish things off. But once again, thanks a lot for being here, guys. And if you want to ask a regular question, either for later or about whatever we happen to be talking about at the moment, you can also... like I said, regular question, make sure to tag Jason. Tag Jason, tag at Video Game Secrets, tag Bat Symbol Man.
Bat Symbol
and
Man.
any of those things.
Mine is like broken though. I think mine is cooler than yours.
Yeah.
Mine is like all broken apart.
I am a little bit jealous of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You'd think we were doing a Batman theme show tonight. We didn't plan this.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Kind of worked out that way.
Ask a question about Batman if you want.
That's true. You could. You guys have the power to turn it into a Batman theme show for the second half anyway.
Yes.
And even like the callers at the end could call and just ask about Batman.
Sure.
They could do that.
Sure.
Who do you think broke? What do you speculate? Who do you think broke your bat signal?
My bat signal?
Yeah. Like, was it Bane? Was it like what shattered the?
What shattered it? I think it was Zack Snyder. Really. No, I don't know.
Was it the Predator?
Probably Bane. Or like Black Mask or something.
Black Mask shattered your bat symbol?
Yeah.
Also, I want to remind everybody, and I'm not calling anybody specifically out with this, but Jason's name is spelled with a Y. I know it's an odd spelling, but...
it's spelled with a Y.
And a lot of folks don't know that. I just thought, in case you want to know how it's actually spelled, you put a Y,
and
Jayson.
Yes.
What are you going to say?
And you can I think it's in like the description if you need to know where the Y is.
Well, a couple people are already spelling it correctly, but yeah, that's the name. Omara Daniels, somehow Ultron returned. Yeah, thanks for getting us on track here. Jason, I was so last minute. I don't think I got my monitor set up correctly. So let me just fix
in
this
the interim,
real
let's
quickly.
do a Patreon question.
Oh yes. Sorry, I was making fun of you and I forgot again.
Yeah.
I'll get this eventually. Yes, I will. Okay, sorry, let's roll time backwards. And it's time now for a Patreon question.
Yeah, we got a Patreon question from Slipmaker.
Thanks, man. By the way, we are right at the end of the month, so I will send out a memo to get questions for next month in the next couple of days.
Cool.
Just so folks know. So there are still like 2 or 3 that we'll try to get to on this show from last month.
Yeah, there are 4.
Okay, cool. And if we don't get all of those, we'll catch up next week. But we'll go ahead and open it up for people to start asking. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, man. Slipmaker.
I did this kind of on purpose. I picked this one out kind of on purpose.
Is it about Ultron?
This question is no.
Oh.
This question is from Slipmaker, and he asks, "What is your favorite horrific Batman Beyond villain fate?"
Oh, jeez. It's been too long. Like, I don't remember that show super well.
Honestly, I haven't seen enough.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't.
Well, I've seen every
no dog in this
episode.
fight.
I did a 10. Yeah, I feel bad because I'm not going to have a great response to this. I would have to go back and rewatch the show. I guess it's kind of known for that.
Mm-hmm. You could do a top 10 at some point to redeem yourself.
Well, I don't know that there's that many villain deaths. And like I think Blight maybe has one. I can't remember because he just stopped showing up. Like he's the recurring main villain for the first season, which is a lot more serialized than the rest of it, and then he just stops showing up after that. I can't remember if Ink has one. I don't know if Shriek has one. Like I don't remember, and I thought most of those characters, were left in such a way where they could come back. But then if you go back and look at animated series, we did that with a lot of villains that looked like they died potentially a horrific death, and then
Just came back.
Here's Joker back after he must have broken his head on those rocks, but yeah.
Yeah.
No apologies. You've stumped me on that because it's been too long. But yeah, I like you said, I did that top 10 years ago, so I have seen every episode. But I mean, that was over a decade ago now. So sound off in the comments, folks, that really know that show, and refresh my memory. What do you think is the best? Maybe I should prepare for these ahead of time. Because we have them ahead of time, but I answer them like regular questions.
Yeah.
I don't usually look real close at them.
I probably should watch more Batman Beyond because one of my favorite superhero movies of all time is Return of the Joker.
Yeah.
And
And there's a lot of great ones.
Yeah, I think it might be in like my top 5.
Really?
Yeah. It's really good.
And I mean that's definitely cream of the crop of that show, but it's not necessarily. If it's the best thing they did, it's tied with some other episodes. I mean, there's definitely episodes that are up there along with it. Joker always survives. Yeah, yes, exactly, he does. Omara Daniels didn't Freeze end up just ahead in Beyond. He ended up ahead in New Batman Adventures, and then he is still ahead in a jar when you get to Batman Beyond.
Yes.
And then he gets his consciousness, if memory serves, put into a real body.
Yes. That is the Mr. Freeze stuff is great in Batman Beyond.
It's really it's just the one episode. But he's got a really cool kind of trackable arc throughout all of the series that he's in, which is kind of neat.
That's cool.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk about this Ultron thing. So, Jason, what is your initial reaction to the fact that this is happening? Does this just feel inevitable, like somebody in the comments just said, that like of course we're gonna bring Ultron back at some point?
Right. I mean, I was expecting this.
Were you expecting it specifically because this Vision show is happening?
No.
Or just you thought someday they would probably do that?
I was just thinking someday they would probably do that. I wasn't even expecting.
But would you have figured a movie as opposed to a Disney Plus show? Like,
Yeah,
because I gotta tell you,
actually.
I did not ever have this thought that sure, like what made you think that? Just because he's an AI robot man, pretty easy to bring back in some way.
Yeah, and
But it's been so long.
that's also why.
Okay.
Like it's really long. Like that is something that I feel like would get people excited.
It's something that I could see Feige and some people at Marvel being out of touch enough to think would get people excited.
Yeah.
It won't, because that is the least appreciated and most dogged on Avengers movie, and has, I think, been appraised weaker and weaker as time has gone on.
And I feel like I'm the only one that likes that movie. But.
Yeah, and I'm somewhere in the middle of the road on it. I know Austin like really detests it, and we've got some viewers that like it and some viewers that don't. I don't want to re-review that movie, but the big thing I said in the rewind, I mean, I found all kinds of meaty, interesting things in that to discuss on paper, and I like new character introductions. One of the things that elevates that movie is the introduction for Vision and for Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
But Vision more so, I suppose. And I've never really cared for what we did with Quicksilver.
Right.
That seems like a real typical Whedon move, where it's like here's a character you figure would keep going. Oh, psych, we got to kill him because it's a Whedon thing, so he's got to kill somebody off.
Yeah.
It was already at that point kind of redundant and felt formulaic for him. Okay, I am just reviewing it again. But I'll just say my big criticism with that movie at the time. I don't even mind too much the way Ultron is handled. I'll have to reappraise it and think about it again. It's been a long time since I've watched it, and consider some of Austin's complaints about it, because he and some other people say that Ultron just doesn't even really make a lot of sense in the way he comes together and all of that. I was kind of liked him as an extension or a what's the word I'm looking for? Of just Tony Stark's personality, and really vilified, and what the taking that to the nines of narcissism might look like, where you want to make the whole world look like you, and that thematically with the kind of ironic thematic thing of Tony Stark thinking that he can put, like he says, a shield around the world, and then he does that, and he becomes the villain, or at least his ideas, that philosophy kind of becomes the villain, where it's like, well, human beings are the biggest threat to the planet. What do? We'll get rid of all of those and replace them all with basically Tony Stark's personality. Now, a lot of people that don't like that idea, it's because they have an investment in Ultron in the comics in the first place, who was not a character that I had read a lot of up to that point, except for the Age of Ultron event that happened right before it, and that didn't make me a gigantic fan of the character all of a sudden or anything. So, but anyway, the bigger issue with that movie for me was always just, it was a whole season of television truncated into 2 hours, and it needed to be at least half an hour longer. And it doesn't have enough time to sit with its ideas, and the pacing is just wrong. It's so rushed.
And I haven't seen it in a minute, so I know that is something that people have said, where it's really rushed.
Well, you have to revisit it, especially if you have any interest in looking at this Vision series.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess there's a certain logic to it. We'll see how exactly it happens, with it being another Vision show and not Wanda and Vision focus, where it's like, well, who would the villain of that be? It kind of goes along with the track record of Disney Plus shows so far, where they like to bring back villains that we haven't seen in a while, that were inherently important to a character's stories previously. So we did that with Zemo, etc., and they never come back great. And my worry is that Ultron will come back and be somehow even more of a joke than people thought he was in his movie, because that's been the trend so far. The way some of these things come back,
yeah,
with him and with Abomination. And
see, I'm not super excited about it. I was expecting it to happen.
Yeah. No, it actually somewhat blindsided me, honestly. I wasn't really expecting this, but then I thought, Well, of course, because they've been doing this with things,
Mm-hmm.
and anything, like, maybe it's... I can see somebody also thinking it's a little desperate, where it's like, we need to do anything we can to make these things look relevant again. So, we got Spader back as Ultron, and you liked that performance, right? And I'm sure, that'll be a big deal. That's not me talking. That's the production. But I don't know if we have any information about what the actual story is going to be. Apparently, as they claim, they being Deadline, Spader's role will not just be a voiceover and motion capture like of Age of Ultron. The conclusion, Ultron will be shown in human form, presumably one with Spader's face. Okay, so they'll handle it a lot like taking Jarvis to Vision. And so he'll be evil Vision. And, like, in his way, Vision is, like, good guy Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they'll flip that, and so Vision's getting his own show, so naturally he just has to have an evil version of himself, like we do with everything. You always have evil Tony Stark and evil Black Panther. I don't mind it so much with Black Panther, but if we kept doing it...
Evil Ant-Man.
You know what I mean? Evil Ant-Man. We started with that, et cetera, et cetera. It's always evil whoever.
Yeah, and I'm getting really sick of that in everything. And that was part of why
Yeah, this is not exciting so far.
Yeah.
Let me just say, even though I like Ultron more than some other people, just because of what you're talking about, that it does seem like the formulaic play.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why I think I was the only one who flipped red on Godzilla because of that.
Oh.
Like, that was the reason. Because I'm done with those villain plots.
You didn't need evil King Kong.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
There are...
That's a terrific point.
There are thousands of Marvel characters. I don't know.
And lots of Godzilla monsters.
Right.
Yeah.
And lots of other things. Like, pick a character.
Well, and it makes you
Pick a
seem...
villain.
With this, when you're so far in, it makes you seem... I can see the phrase creative bankruptcy coming back again.
Mm-hmm.
You know? We're in like... I would want to hold judgment out a little bit, because I could see the potential for cool parallels and mirroring and some clever way to bring him back. But the Disney Plus shows have not fared great for the most part.
No.
And that sounds like like an idea that does not necessarily come from a creative place.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. One thing I do appreciate about it is, and maybe it sounds cop-out-ish, but we may not have to see too much crappy Disney Plus CG with this.
Yeah.
Because initially, that was my worry about it, until I found out that he was going to actually physically be played by James Spader.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I wonder if he'll be like full-on human form. I know we're not doing rants tonight, Jason.
Yeah.
But I want to complain about something.
I
Can I do a
complain.
mini rant here?
Yeah,
This is
complain.
neither here nor there. I'm just looking at this article, and it says Ultron and Vision's final scene, where Vision somberly suggests that Ultron is short-sighted. And I like that moment in Age of Ultron for equating impermanence and imperfection. Chef's kiss. I cannot tell you how sick and tired I am of the phrase chef's kiss.
Really?
I'm really tired of it.
I mean, yeah, the people say it too much.
It has become cringeworthy to me.
Really?
Yeah. Again, not calling out anybody in particular. Whenever I see it in a YouTube comment, it just makes me kind of like...
Yeah, I don't personally...
Like when you're watching a trailer or
Feeling?
something, and you'll have like an exciting moment. It's like chef's kiss. I'm like, stop saying. I don't know. There's something about that phrase. I can't even explain it. It makes me twinge. Like I don't like it. Stop saying chef's kiss.
Well, and also, and it's like the...
I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it.
And it's the fact that they put like the things in to make it look like kind of like a role playing thing, because they put like the things in the front and back of it to make it look like they put the thunderbolts, in the front and back of it to make it look like a role play thing, where it's like, why?
And then you have to put an asterisk because it's thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Jason, would you read some of the comments that are coming out, that are coming to us right now about this topic before we move on?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing a few. And I don't want to do your job for you.
Yeah, Amari Daniels asks, this Vision show is coming out much later after WandaVision than Agatha. Is there still interest?
Yeah, that's a good question, too. It seems potentially a little too late, kind of too little too late. And Agatha seems real late, too.
Yeah.
And was already a thing I wondered how much interest there could possibly be in.
Yeah.
Now, look, if Agatha, and I'm not saying they should have done this, of course. They were oversaturating like mad. I mean, that's why it's so late before that's coming out, and why we still haven't seen the Ironheart show, which they seem a little terrified to put out. Like, you can tell they seem kind of embarrassed about that show. Look, I still hope. I'm not excited to see it, but we still have to look at least the pilot, because we know they built a White Castle for it.
Oh my gosh.
They built from the ground up a White Castle for that show.
Wow, really?
And now they're like dragging their feet to release it. Yeah, that happened. But anyway, I was just going to say, if they had Agatha in their back pocket and had put it out immediately after WandaVision, there certainly would have been more interest in it than there is right now, especially with, that would have never happened, but especially with the hype people were on with that show. It was a really good opening volley for the Disney Plus shows. The disappointing ending for a lot of people notwithstanding. Everybody had reason to think that they were firing on all cylinders, and that each of those shows had the potential to be at least as good and as much fun as some of their recent standalone movies had been. And so there was no, and the lineup right away sounded really solid. Where, like, I know they changed the order of it, but then the very next thing you were going to do was Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there was none of us that expected to come out of that feeling the way we felt about it, and it was kind of all downhill from there. Certain of them were better than that, of course, but
yeah,
like the Hawkeye show. But to your point, I just think it's maybe a little too late.
Yeah.
But I hope it's really good. And if it is, word of mouth will get people to look at it, certainly. Because especially with Deadpool and Wolverine, I think a lot of people would come back to MCU, at least for particular projects. Like, I don't think they're dead in the water. We are at a low point, like Deadpool says in that movie, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that movie brought back a ton of goodwill for the whole of the MCU, although there might be, I'm sorry to say it like this, there might be some gullible or naive people that go, oh, this means that everything after this is going to be great. It would be a mistake to assume that, especially because you don't want Marvel to learn the wrong lessons from that, and you don't want everything after that to be just that movie. Mm-hmm. Obviously. But I do think that if Feige and those guys are smart, they will realize that what they have is a really good kind of second chance with that. Because it at least proves that the superhero fatigue thing is not the main problem. It certainly is there, but look how much money that thing has made. Mm-hmm. And look how much money Guardians 3 made. And those are outliers in the sense that there was still interest in those properties because people loved the previous entries. And the question is, can you put out a new superhero thing right now that can do what Guardians did? Like, is superhero fatigue still there to a point that the only thing that will make money now is stuff that people have a lot of nostalgia for? Is nostalgia always we have left, I think, is the big question.
It is.
I want to think not.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Batman did really well, and certainly nostalgia for that character or whatever, but it was a different version of it. It was a new iteration of it. And so I want to think that if they're smart and they learn the right lessons from the successes they've had lately, and verdict is out on whether they're able to do that, they can take that momentum and they can get smarter about it and sober up a little bit and stop patting their own backs and making kind of self-parody stuff like I feel like they have been, some of it. If the new Captain America movie is good, they'll be in real good shape.
Yes.
That needs to not suck.
Yeah.
I think that's actually more important for them now than I did before, just because the trailer is really good and it perked some people up.
Yeah.
Including me. I mean, like, and people seem excited about Red Hulk.
Yeah.
So that needs to be, like, 3 times better than that TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Made by the same people that made that TV show. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, any last thoughts about that? I kind of just wanted to mention that is happening, and, like, I'm not excited about it.
Yeah. I think I'm overall...
It might be cool to see those guys acting on camera together without all the CG, though.
Yeah. I'm overall interested in that show just because I really like WandaVision.
Sure.
And it would be cool to see a White Vision show, but I don't really have much to say about Ultron. Like, if they do it right, then that's cool.
What does doing it right look like to you?
He's not just there for no reason, and they actually do.
Is it a sitcom again, and
cool.
he's the evil boss, and he's like the mean boss?
Yeah.
That Vision goes to work for. Is that what it
No.
is?
But yeah, I think if he gets cool stuff to do, then it will be cool that he's there. But if he gets nothing to do and he's just there because, oh look, it's James Spader, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just worried it's gonna be a repeat of Zemo. And I hope that it's not horribly overwritten like some of those have been, and just really drags its feet. But we'll see. I liked what little of White Vision we got. I mean, that whole thing was interesting at the end of that show.
Yeah.
So I do think there's lots of potential with it. Mm-hmm. I have been curious to go back and revisit WandaVision because it's been so long now. Okay, well,
I should probably watch that too.
Let's hit some other news articles real quick. Jason, this whole thing so far is already really disappointing to me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna possibly fall asleep reading some of this article, but let's go ahead and look at it. So the Hollywood Reporter, this is just today because so we had to move the show this week back to Thursday. It will usually be on Wednesdays, but big news always happens on Thursdays. It kind of sucks that we're back to Wednesdays now. We have to wait 6 days for some stuff. But today we're getting to talk about news that just came out. Jurassic World sequel reveals title and first look at stars Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali. The title of the movie is going to be Jurassic World Rebirth. And it is... I wish, Jason, that they would go back to the Jurassic Park title. That's one thing that I'm a little bit disappointed with. And, like, I knew they were going to do this. They've been talking about it this way. But, like, now it's Jurassic World 4. You know what I mean? Like, I would have appreciated their either changing the title to Jurassic something else. Like, I don't know what that would have been.
But you know what they have to do, though? Jurassic Universe, and they go to space. It's dinosaurs in space.
Well, they're going in exactly the opposite direction of fun, over-the-top, ridiculous schlock, which was where it was going with the last two. And the last one was ultra-bloated, and I liked almost nothing in it, even as crazy and bombastic and nuts as it was, like with Jurassic House. But Jurassic House I thought was really fun. Jurassic Plague was like not even a dinosaur movie hardly, except for one really cool raptor chase on motorcycles, and that they sold the movie on real hard. And that thing was wonderful. Past that, bringing back all of the old cast members ended up being embarrassing because none of them felt like those characters at all. Remember, you and I slumped down in our theater seats to the point where we were almost on the floor when the movie was over. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was a dreadful experience. We were out of town. We were in Branson for a week. That was the first fun thing we were doing that week. We were marginally excited about it.
That was so fun.
We left the theater going, God, if we weren't reviewing this, we could have just left early and gone and played mini golf or something.
Yeah, or something.
But here's everybody try to stay awake through this plot synopsis, okay?
I haven't actually. All I know is it's going to be called Rebirth. That's all I know.
Jurassic World Rebirth takes place 5 years after the events of filmmaker Colin Trevorrow's Jurassic World Dominion. We know about all that. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Here's the actual synopsis. So in the new, or setup or premise, in the new movie, look at this guy. Hold on, you guys aren't looking at this.
Wasn't that gonna be the new Blade?
Yes. Yeah, and he's still signed on for it. It's still supposed to happen. And I like him. So, I mean, it's possible that he and Scarlett Johansson will be, kind of fun in that movie. I said that it's not going to be over the top schlock, but this is the first image of the movie that we're getting.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the new movie, only a limited number of dinosaurs remain and live in specialized biospheres, and 3 of these... Hold on. And 3 of these creatures hold the key to a potentially life-saving drug. Covert operations expert Zora Burnett, Scarlett Johansson, a.k.a. the Black Widow, right? She's entirely typecast.
Yeah.
Covert operations expert.
Yeah.
Typecast Scarlett Johansson. So what happens is she dies in an Avengers movie, and then the rebirth is she's back in Jurassic Park. That's what happened. Anyway, she attempts to secure the genetic material from the dinosaurs, but ends up stranded with a civilian family on an island that holds a secret being kept from humanity for decades.
So it's just Jurassic Park 3?
Edwards of Rogue One directs Jurassic World Rebirth from a script by David Koepp. We've seen his name before, who worked on Jurassic Park and its 97 sequel, The Lost World. This sounds like a blend of Lost World and 3 to me.
It does.
Sounds like they just sandwiched those 2 movies together.
Yeah.
I bet the twist in this will be, like, facepalm inducing. Because they're setting up for a big, spectacular twist of some kind. Like, it sounds like a real dull premise. Whatever the twist is of, because there's a secret that's being kept from humanity for decades. Whatever that is going to make or break that movie.
The secret is
that there's dinosaurs?
There's dinosaurs. Yeah.
Like, what does rebirth mean exactly?
Right.
Because there are still dinosaurs there, so it's not the rebirth for those dinosaurs. So is it?
There's more dinosaurs?
Yeah, there have been dinosaurs this whole time. Maybe that'll turn out to be what it is.
That's kind of lame.
That would be lame. Yeah, but like I can't imagine what exactly it would be. And my worry is this going to be like a Fountain of Youth thing that they're going to do? Like there's something in the dinosaurs that can that can like cure diseases, like cure cancer or something.
Yeah.
Because she's trying to secure the genetic material that holds the key to a life-saving drug. Because we've already fallen into that trap before with the Jurassic World movies, where the dinosaurs are like overly important or overly brilliant in some way. Remember that stupid line in Jurassic House about how the raptors are like more intelligent than human beings? Mm-hmm. Or was that in Plague? I think that was in...
Can you name a line from that movie that wasn't stupid?
Well, no! And that's what made it so entertaining.
Goofster123 says, I mean, the island that they're on has got to be...
Isla Nublar? Oh, Sorna. Yeah.
Right.
I mean... Or it might just be some random new island, because the dinosaurs in the last couple of movies spread across the world. So they could honestly be anywhere. I mean, it's possible that the secret has... that they do conveniently wind up on one of the islands from the Jurassic Park movies, and that the secret is something that Hammond left behind. I guess it could be that kind of thing.
A second park.
Because it's a secret that's being kept from humanity for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to have to be about dinosaurs.
It could be a second park. Or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be weird.
That would be weird, but
it's like we were building the whole theme park all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the sequel to Jurassic World Rebirth is Jurassic Park Rebirth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I don't like that's something that they would do.
Yeah. It again, on the face of it, it sounds really dull. I think the only thing that could potentially redeem it, because I mean, the whole thing is so played out by this point.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is a franchise I really like, or I guess I should say the original movie is a movie I like a lot, and then Jurassic World I appreciated on some level, and I've liked it less every time I've seen it. And Jurassic Park is one of or Jurassic House is, to me, one of the great big budget B movies of all time. I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but I have a lot of fun with it. But the whole thing is so played out, it's going to be really difficult for me to get excited about this. Obviously, I'll see it and review it. And it'll be nice to get away from that last cast and maybe sober it up a little bit, which is what it sounds like they're trying to do. But what I was going to say is, the only thing that could redeem this is either it ends up being a shockingly intriguing science fiction story with whatever that secret is, or it's so outlandish that we finally get to I don't mean this specifically is what they'll do, but that we finally get to that, like, dinosaur human hybrid plays, or characters with robot arms plays, like the crazy stuff we've been waiting to see for Jurassic. Because if you're gonna go as nuts as they did with those last two, just go all the way and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
take it to space. Do an Alien ripoff with dinosaurs.
Why
the hell not?
What if the dinosaurs have been aliens all this time?
That'll be the sequel.
Like,
dinosaurs came from space.
And then the next thing will be Jurassic Park or Jurassic Universe.
Yeah, but it would be weird if we did another Jurassic World movie and then we changed the name. Like, you'd never see that coming. Or the whole thing.
It'll be a quadrilogy.
It's how we bring Stargate back.
Yeah, quadrilogy. Yeah.
The Goa'uld brought the dinosaurs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the big super chat there, John Bradley. We'll get to that here in a little while.
In a little while.
I just wanted to acknowledge that and let you know that we will get there. We answer those questions usually in the second half, because I'm long-winded with the news. But obviously, if we get super chats or the regular questions about what we're talking about. Anybody talking about Jurassic World?
Huh?
Anybody asking anything or mentioning anything about Jurassic World that we should read before we move on?
Cinematographic says, Jurassic Neighborhood was right there.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Orlando.
Wouldn't it be great if we did a whole movie that was just set in Orlando, where it's like there's real dinosaurs in the Jurassic Park part of, and we would just make a whole meta thing?
Yeah. Gooster123 says, Jurassic Park Romulus.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they thought they were making Jurassic Park Romulus with Jurassic Plague.
Yeah.
When I say that, I mean Dominion, but I like to give them more descriptive titles.
Yeah. It's Jurassic Plague and it's Jurassic House.
Right.
Well, Jurassic House is the second one. And that's like Fallen Kingdom or something.
Yeah, and I'm not going to rename Jurassic World, because, like, that's accurate. That's the, it's basically you have Disneyland and then you have Disney World.
And then, and we'll figure out what this fourth one is.
Yeah, because Rebirth might ultimately be a fine title for it.
Yeah.
But if the whole thing takes place on a boat, we are calling it Jurassic Boat.
No, you know what it should have been called?
Uh-oh.
The Lost Park Jurassic World. See? Second park.
Oh my god!
A second park, and it's called The Lost Park Jurassic World.
You've nailed it!
Yeah.
The Lost Park! Especially if it turns out that that's the secret.
Yeah,
there's a second park.
It's The Lost Park Jurassic World.
I knew there was a reason I hired you for the show. That's perfect. That's so good. Now that's the plot, so we can call it that.
Yeah.
The Lost
Park Jurassic World.
That's so good. Okay, I wanted to just real briefly mention this weird video that Marvel Entertainment put out today, celebrating the 85 years of Marvel. It is the 85th anniversary of Marvel just today. Kind of cool that we're broadcasting and talking a lot about Marvel today. And I don't want to disparage this too much. There's some kind of nice tribute stuff thrown into this, but it watches like a trailer for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you saw it, right?
I did.
That's what was kind of weird about it. And
well, kind of in like the second half, it was really weird. Like what they did. So they like do these like Stan Lee tribute things where they go back to old like interviews with him and stuff, and they show stuff from like comics, and then they like kind of like go through the years a little bit.
And all
with,
that's
like, the
nice.
movies. That's nice. And then they give you like 20 seconds of Deadpool and Wolverine, which I didn't need.
yeah.
And then they
Like, this is out right now, make sure you go see it. Like, there is that corporate cynicism thing in it, where if they just left it well enough alone and made it about comics, about, like Marvel history, and sprinkle in images and footage from the movies, because obviously that's the stuff that the wider culture cares most about. That's where it all went. That stuff matters and is important. I'm not going to disparage that. But too much of it felt calculated, where it was like, it felt like a trailer to, and it's weird that it felt like a trailer.
Yeah,
it wasn't a trailer for anything.
It did feel like a trailer.
But it felt like a trailer that was trying to prove that Marvel is 85 years old and still relevant.
Yeah.
Go see our movies and buy our tickets. And that's what I didn't care for about it. And then they used it as an excuse to sell the new Captain America movie real hard. At the end, where they finally show Red Hulk with his full face, which I don't think we had seen yet.
It was in the leak trailer.
It was in the leaked trailer, which they've not publicly put out yet.
Yeah.
So I had
seen it, but
sure, but that was them for the masses, revealing a thing in a tribute video.
Yeah.
That they made more like a trailer.
Yeah.
It's just so, the whole thing is just so corporate.
Yeah.
And I mean, we expect that, but I'm still allowed to complain about it.
Cape Crusading, John Kelly asks, but Cap, how else would they shamelessly plug their current product?
Well, they do that all the time anyway.
Yeah.
It would have just been nice to see them do something real classy that wasn't still like patting themselves on the back or being desperate. Take your pick. Any way you want to look at it. And I've never really understood the strategy with them, where they have a big success. Everybody and their dog went and saw a movie. Like with Endgame, like with Guardians 3, like, well, maybe not that as much, but still, that movie did really well. And with Deadpool and Wolverine. And the way they utilize that success is they keep putting it in front of you as if you don't know about it already. I don't really understand that. That's what I mean when I complain that they're patting themselves on the back, where it's like Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, yeah, we all just went and saw it. Like,
yeah, everyone has seen that, and it's honestly, that movie is really weird, because that is like the first movie, and obviously, like I was around for like Endgame and Infinity War, but I was young.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of the first movie that I've really had this with, where like the spoilers don't really feel like spoilers, because everyone knows about it, because everyone saw it. So it's kind of weird. Yeah. Where it's just like everyone knows about these spoilers. So it's
but your mom still hasn't seen it, so there's all this stuff that I'm trying to keep her away from.
Yeah.
I've been trying to shield her from all of that. I don't think she's found out too much yet.
I don't think so.
But she's not going to get to go, because we have a newborn we have a baby in the house, and that makes it difficult for us to get to the theater together. Yeah. And she and I both want to go to that together, and she's not going to go by herself.
Right.
So we're going to finally go see that next week. But so another week, hopefully nobody spoil. So nobody spoil that for my wife.
Yeah.
Now somebody's going to go out of their way to try to get my wife a message about Deadpool 3. Don't do that, okay? That's weird. First of all, that's weird.
Deadpool and friend.
Deadpool and friend.
Dad, you have it on the Just Me. Just saying.
Oh,
It's a Captain Logan show.
Oh, I forgot. Well, I got to
No,
make sure.
we're small.
I got to make sure that everybody remembers the thing we talked about already.
Right.
And has the ticker tape thing to be reminded that you can leave a super chat.
That you can.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and bricks.
Cause I gotta be like Disney and make it all about reminding people that you can give us money. Mm-hmm. Right? Gotta do that thing. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it's guess what, guys? It's 15 years of Geekvolution. Give us money.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, what were you talking about? what were you saying? Oh, sorry. We don't want to be like Disney, so we'll just do this to the rest of the show.
Yeah.
No, wait. Never mind. Give us a super chat. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Any dollar amount. We'll talk about whatever you want us to talk about.
Okay. Do you have anything else
To say about that?
No.
No,
But
it was really awkward.
Do you have anything, any other news?
Real briefly, I just want to. I did not get a chance to look at this yet, and I'm sure I wouldn't have had a lot to say. It's a trailer for a documentary, but I just want to mention that a documentary trailer did drop today or a few days, 3 or 4 days ago, for Superman the Christopher Reeve story, which we will review when it comes out. If I'm able to get to the theater for that. That's going to be, I assume, like probably a Fathom Events kind of thing, because looking at this on Warner Brothers Pictures, it's listing it as only appearing in theaters September 21st and 25th. That usually means Fathom Events, but we'll go try to look at that. Do you want to see that?
Yeah.
With me, yeah. So Jason and I'll go and we'll try to review it if we're able to, and if not, we'll do that when it comes out on streaming. But there's been a lot of these documentary announcements and trailers and things recently for specifically actors and creators in the space that we talk about all the time. And that's all the news that I wanted to talk about. So we've still got about 10 minutes before the break, so we can go ahead and start hitting super chats and other questions if you want to. Jason, what were you gonna say?
There are a couple other new stuff that showed up.
That showed up. What does that mean?
Not showed up, but that I heard about.
Oh, sure. Just stuff you want to bring up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the news will continue now with
Just
Jason.
a little bit.
What do you want to bring up?
I guess we can't really show this, but we got the first look at the Thing for Fantastic Four for Steps.
Oh, yes. So I intentionally didn't bring that up.
Okay.
Because my rule of thumb typically is if it's rumor mill,
It has been confirmed though.
It's been confirmed?
It's been confirmed.
Okay, because
and it is not.
The thing you sent me had not been confirmed yet.
Yes, it just got confirmed.
Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I have occasionally made exceptions to that with things that look like it's probably true, or things that are just so interesting to speculate about that I'll go, look, we don't know this, but if it's true, it's interesting.
Yeah.
This was not one of those to me, but I will go ahead and bring it up.
Yeah, just because, and also this is like this isn't actually what it's gonna look like, in the movie, but it is,
Which means I'm sure you've got people just taking one look at it and going, oh my god!
Yeah.
It looks terrifying!
It is going to be CG, but they did make a mask for it so that the CG guys can look at it and be like... Oh,
which means you know more or less what the design is going to be.
Yeah,
I'm struggling to find a picture of it.
Okay, yeah.
Here it is. What's funny about it is, I'm glad that you specified that this was this is just a mask that they're basing it on, because although this is like a full costume, so I wonder if the actor is gonna sometimes actually wear that mask and they're CG enhancing it.
Yeah.
Like, is that what they're doing? Because this is on set,
right? So maybe, I don't know.
So this isn't just what do you call it? It's not just like the plaster cast.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I'm glad that you said that, because one look at this and you go, well, that looks a lot like the unreleased 1994 movie.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah.
Which in its way was real faithful. It was just cheap. Mm-hmm. You know, they just didn't have the money to make it look good, but they tried to take it pretty well off the page. So yeah, well, people are going to be excited. He's got his eyebrows.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I stepped on you. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with that, or just you wanted to make sure that we showed it?
I just wanted to make sure that we showed it, because that was just... It probably wasn't going to be brought up anyway, so...
Yeah, well, like I said, at first I didn't know for sure if it was real.
It has been... Yeah. It's been confirmed.
What was the other thing?
No, there wasn't anything else.
Oh, I thought you said a couple
The
things.
other thing was more rumor territory, so...
The other thing. Holy says that you're wrong and the thing will be practical.
Okay.
And then Cape Crusading John Kelling says, I'm just going to read John Kelling, it's a stand-in for the VFX model on set, more than likely. Yeah, but it's on his body.
Yeah.
Like we saw the costume under it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm really digging those costumes.
Yeah.
I love the blue with the white. I know some people are probably wishing it was the traditional comic accurate, just straight up blue, but I think the white really adds something.
It does, yeah.
And
and it adds that kind of 60s thing too.
I think so too, and I like that it's throwback and modern simultaneously, because I don't know if this is intentional, but it evokes Future Foundation, which was all white. I don't know if you know about that.
I did not know about that.
So after, when I first started reading new comics, when I was getting a pull list back in 2010, 2011, I got in right at the death of Johnny Storm in the Hickman run.
Oh, wow.
I have the blue bag edition of the death of Johnny Storm.
Wow.
They did the whole Superman black bag thing with that, and they made it a blue bag, and
That's
it's got a
cool.
4 on it. Yeah, it's great. And immediately after that, they started a new book. They started it over, and it was just called FF instead of Fantastic Four, and FF stood for Future Foundation.
Oh.
And so after Johnny Storm dies, they make a different team, and it's like a real think tanky sort of team. And Spider-Man joins the team, and so he's got a white suit. And then you look at the Spider-Man book at the same time, and you wonder how in the world he's got time to go on his own adventures and deal with the Future Foundation, and if he's got to keep like the extra spare outfit in his backpack.
Yeah. Yeah. Does he have a sack on his head?
He does not have a sack on his head. Professor Zoom, I prefer the solid blue suits. Yeah, I figure a lot of people do, but I'm very happy with it. I think it looks really cool. The kind of white collar, it's great.
Yeah.
We'd probably have time for a super chat.
A super chat? Yes.
Before we go to break?
I have some of those.
Cool, thanks, man. Appreciate you guys. What's up?
50 Mexican pesos from Manu.
Yeah.
And he says...
Manu.
Looking forward to Ultron reappearing.
Oh, cool.
On a different note, do you prefer Joker?
You think he was trying to get us to read it during the news?
I don't know. That's why I didn't.
You know, because you could have been like, well, look, it's relevant. He said Ultron. Loophole.
I didn't. But on a different note,
yeah.
Do you prefer Joker?
Look, I'm open-minded to it, but I also, well, let me just say this real quick.
Yeah.
I'm open-minded to it, but I also don't want to be naive. They have burned me a bunch of times. There's no reason to get excited about that to me. But hopefully, I mean, I'll certainly watch that show. Some of these I haven't even been encouraged to look at this point.
Yeah.
Where, like, I'm not forcing myself to watch every single show they make. I would go insane. Now that they've slowed down with it, I'm more inclined to look at them as they come out.
Yeah.
But I like Paul Bettany a lot. And the one really great, or one of the only great shows they've made was the show with Vision in it.
They gotta make
I'll look at it.
They gotta make a show called Agents of Ultron.
Agents of Ultron?
Yeah.
I'd watch that show.
Okay, but we're on a different note, Dad.
John Kelling, Cap, I'll settle for Batman if you don't want to say my whole username. He likes to change his moniker all the time.
But Dad, we're on a different note, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But Dad,
on a different note.
Do you prefer Joker when we don't know his secret identity, or Joker when he's Clint Barton?
That's hilarious. So he's making fun of Austin there. Do you know about that?
I think.
Austin, in the slideshow for our countdown for Geekvolution's top 50 Marvel characters, accidentally put Joker in a slide. Wrote Joker when he meant Hawkeye.
Oh yeah.
And that's why he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. Nicely done. I'm glad you didn't wait any longer to mention that, because
Yeah.
a month from now I might have forgotten what you were even
Yeah.
talking about. But yeah, that's really great. Should I take that question remotely seriously? Should I turn it into a more serious question and actually answer it?
What if...
Because yes, I do traditionally prefer the Joker when we don't know his backstory.
Okay, yeah. But I have
Of
another
course.
question for you.
The Jack Napier thing is fine in '89, but I don't like it anywhere else. And even that movie, like, that's not one of the better ideas, certainly.
Would you read a series where Clint Martin is the Joker?
Well, sure, but I mean, it'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Those companies would have to
Well,
come
right,
together and make
but
that.
I mean, just
yeah.
like what? It's a scenario, Dad.
Well, I feel like that's a what if,
Mhm.
where instead of
Just
the-
imagine.
instead of Ronan,
Uh-huh.
he turns into a full-on psychotic murderer. So he doesn't become. So like he loses his wife and kids, right?
Mhm.
And then instead of becoming a mercenary, he becomes a serial killer.
Yeah.
That's how you get Clint Barton as something like the Joker.
Yeah.
That's actually a character that you could get there pretty easily.
Yeah, then he'll be the last Ronin.
And you make him a killer with a bow and arrow.
Yeah. That would be cool. No, that actually I would like to see.
I think what I would do
Honestly-
is, as the Joker, I would give him a Jack in the Box motif, where he sets himself up outside of places, and somebody walks out. This is so stupid. Somebody walks out and cranks the Jack in the Box, and then Clint Martin Joker comes out of the Jack in the Box like boingy, like
Yeah,
springs
and
out,
then
and then he fires a
And
bow
he
at
does
him.
the thing, and he like is like doing the Hawkeye thing where he jumps up and he does that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he does. He bounces out of a Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
No, we have just pitched Clint Barton as the Joker
Yes.
based on a typo,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen.
See, that's what Austin really wants.
Okay, it's time for the break. We'll be back in about 3.5 to 4 minutes. So go get yourself a snack. Go to the
snack.
bathroom, feed your cat, and we will see you real soon with the second half of the Captain Logan show, in which Jason will give us his segment of the day.
Yes.
And we will answer your questions and even talk to one or two of you at the end of the show.
Oh boy.
I know, I'm so excited about it.
Oh boy.
It'll be thrilling, I'm sure.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And we'll answer a hefty super chat.
I have to super chat.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. I don't know why I'm doing the salute thing.
Wait,
Because we're not
on
leaving.
break.
Yeah, we're just
Okay,
going
I'll
on
see you in
break.
a minute, I'll see
Okay,
you in a minute.
all right, see you in a minute. And we're back, folks. We have returned just like Ultron's going to. And now it's time for the Ask Me Anything segment, or a section of the show. But first, before that happens... Hold on, I gotta type this up. Before that happens, Jason is gonna do his segment, and then we'll get into audience questions. We've already got a couple of super chats that we'll make sure and tackle directly after this. We've got a couple Patreon questions left, and lots of time. So you guys feel free to keep throwing in questions, either as super chats or regular questions, and we'll try to hit some pre-writtens as well. I'm sure we'll have time for at least a couple of those.
Yes.
Jason, it's time for the Next Generation segment, and what would you like to regale us about today?
Give me a minute. Okay. Tonight, I am talking about some more music.
Oh,
more
cool.
Music reviews.
Part 2.
Part 2. I'm gonna...
You listen to so much more new music than I do.
Yeah.
You could listen to one new record and still say that, because I don't really listen to new music hardly at all, but yeah.
So this has been a big month for new music, and so I'm just gonna go through a list of.
Is this gonna be a 20-minute segment?
No.
Okay.
It'll be 10 minutes at most.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just gonna go through a list of the stuff that I really care about. Whether it's good or not.
Okay.
Just the stuff that I listened to that was new this month.
How many albums?
So it is.
Or are there just some songs in here too?
So it is it's a good number of singles.
Okay.
And 2 albums.
All right, dive in.
And I only had 1 album last month, so it was kind of crazy. But let's knock through these singles first. First is a song that no one listened to. And that is On Your Marks, Get Set by Tape 5. That's a jazz band that I like a lot that I don't think anyone remembers exists. But I have, nothing to say about this other than I kind of wish it was a little more, bombastic with, how this guy is Ian McKenzie. How this guy is, singing these lyrics, it kind of makes it feel like the instrumentation should be a little bigger. But
what kind of jazz is it? Is it swingy?
It's swingy.
Because the way you said that, I wasn't expecting a vocalist. So now I'm trying to figure out what kind of music we're talking about.
It's swingy usually, except this song is not. It's more of a very soothing, surf guitar music.
Oh, so it's not even loungy.
No, it's more kind of summer surf music.
Oh, cool. I like that.
But it's just very, I don't know. There wasn't. It's fine to put on I think it would be fine to be on an album, and be just this is just. But it's not. It's not great for a single. And only 500 people listen to it anyway. Next is
You're gonna give it 2 more listens.
Yeah. Next is a single from. I don't think anyone was expecting this. Foreigner.
Okay.
Yeah, they haven't made a song in 15 years. I don't know what they're doing.
What are they, 89 years old?
Yeah, I think so. But that is Turning Back the Time. And it sounds like Foreigner.
Oh, that's good.
It sounds like something that they had just in a closet and never put out. It sounds like Foreigner.
Well, that's great, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Foreigner, I'm not the biggest fan of Foreigner, but I like that it sounds like Foreigner.
What is your favorite Foreigner song, though?
Probably just Cold as Ice. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't like Hot Blooded, but that's the
Do you
only
like
thing
Jukebox Hero?
I do like Jukebox Hero. And, gosh. Never mind. I don't remember what it's called. But, and also, the lead singer of Foreigner, I don't remember his name, but he can still sing. This song actually has some, kind of hard parts.
This sounds a lot like when the Styx released The Mission.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a full album.
Yeah, it's just a single.
Because Tommy Shaw, you'd never know his age.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell his age, but he can still sing.
Okay. Because Tommy Shaw, I don't think sounds any different than he ever did.
Yeah, he does. This singer does sound different. It still sounds good.
Cool.
He does sound older, but he still sounds good.
Well, and you got like guys like Johnny Cash who sounded better in his 70s.
Yeah. And then so now let's kind of turn it around to not a completely different genre, but kind of, this is in two different ways. One, we're gonna talk about my least favorite thing from this month.
Oh,
and
great!
We're also going to go very much harder.
Oh,
this is the new Marilyn Manson single "Raise the Red Flag," and
what possessed you to listen to that?
I don't know. I like Marilyn Manson sometimes.
My 14-year-old's talking about Marilyn Manson, folks.
Man, this song is annoying.
Mick Jones, is that the lead singer?
Yeah,
for?
Mick Jones.
I don't think I ever
remember
knew
his name.
the name of the lead singer for
But yeah, it is Mick Jones. But I swear, if I listen to that riff one more time, I'm gonna kill someone.
Maybe Marilyn Manson cracked your bat symbol.
Yeah, maybe. But Marilyn Manson, I think this song just doesn't really sound like a Marilyn Manson song. It kind of sounds like they just took it kind of just sounds like every metal song ever. And it's just like,
oh, good. That's what you want.
And I do prefer the other song on this single that they had released previously, but I didn't hear yet, which is As Sick as the Secrets Within. And I liked that at least better than Raise the Red Flag, but I don't know.
Our viewers seem a little disconcerted that you're talking about this. Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's I think on the other side, not on the other side, but
what is this coin?
Here's a song.
What is going to be the other side of the Marilyn Manson coin?
It's actually it's in the same genre, but something I liked a lot more, and I'm
that doesn't
very
sound hard.
Yeah, but that
now I want to listen to that song when you complain about the riff, though. And you're like, is it just really repetitive?
It's really repetitive. They do it over and over.
And you said it doesn't sound like his old stuff at all.
Not really.
Has he mellowed out real hard?
No, he has. It's like the opposite of mellowing out.
Oh.
It's like he's gotten too upbeat for Marilyn Manson. Like,
okay, but I mean mellowed out in the sense that he's not as like hardcore as he used to be.
Yeah.
Does it sound too happy?
No, it doesn't sound too happy. It just sounds too much like everything else.
Okay.
You know, and like I feel like Marilyn Manson definitely. I don't know.
You said that, but I didn't know exactly what that meant.
Marilyn Manson, I feel like, has this certain sound, but it's not really present here. Is
he still singing the same way he used to?
Not really.
Oh, weird. Okay.
He is on the other song, but
I'm
not
actually
really,
listening to that.
But on the other side of this is a song that I actually
we'll talk
really
about
like.
that Goose Drive feelings. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh really? I haven't even seen it.
Oh yeah, just wait.
Okay. But
I'm glad he brought that up. I meant to talk about this.
Okay. But the new Seether single, Illusion.
Oh, you're a big Seether fan.
Which I'm so excited for the new album. The surface seems so far. They've done 2 singles for this so far, and everything sounds great.
Wow.
So this is it is very much sounding kind of like old Seether again, which is pretty cool. And like I like new Seether.
Have they deviated real hard? Because I haven't listened to them in a lot of years.
Not really, but I mean not too hard, like not in a bad way.
Okay.
But just, they have.
But they don't sound like they did in 2003 on the radio.
Right. But
I'll have to get you some of that on vinyl.
Yeah. I think that comes out this month, or next month. So you might hear a review from me on that, possibly. Let's talk about the one thing that you listen to that I on this list.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, you wouldn't. No, yeah. And that's Light It Up by The Offspring.
Oh, yeah.
The new Offspring single. And man, okay, so I'm like a really big Offspring fan. Like Offspring is probably my second favorite band right under They Might Be Giants. Like I really like The Offspring.
What's cool about that is your mom is too. And when she and I got married, my wedding present to her was that entire discography. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's really interesting that you're a big fan of them. And I mean, obviously, we play it some, but not to the degree that we do Team BG.
Right.
I think it's possible you would have come into that on your own even.
Yeah. Possibly.
But anyway.
But
when does the album come out?
It comes out October 16th or something.
I'm very leery of that. I think it's gonna be really uneven.
So I heard this in the first 5 minutes of it coming out, right? Because I get a text message when a new Offspring single comes out. Yeah, I know.
That's how hardcore Jason is.
Yeah, so I don't even do that for TMVG, but
well, you get one every couple of days. They're so prolific. I mean, they haven't been writing much lately.
No,
but.
not lately. But so they did the Offspring thing where they just took 5 different Offspring songs and then mixed it together and made a new song and called it a day and put it as one of their big singles. And I was when I first heard it, I was like, okay, at least they sound like Offspring again, because I was really hoping that the first track that they did that I talked about last month was just going to be kind of the I don't know, just that kind of more poppy song from that album.
Yeah.
And it seems like it will be.
Oh, you're saying you were worried it would be the whole sound?
Yeah.
You were just hoping it wouldn't be the whole sound?
Yeah,
no, I think it's going to be a potpourri of a bunch of sounds.
Yeah. I don't think it will have...
Or half of it will sound like Green Day again.
Oh, no.
It'll be like that.
No. Yeah, so... And also, I'm very leery of this album because since the 2000s, every other album has been good, and every other album has been bad, right?
It's like the TOS movies.
So, it's...
For a lot of people.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
All right,
I don't know about it.
We'll talk about that when I'll listen to that and talk about it with you when it comes out.
Yeah. And then, real quick, so we got 3 more things. We got the last single, and then we got 2 albums. That it'll be brief, actually.
Yeah, we need to get these super chats, so.
We've got the new single from, I know you don't care about this, but we got the new single from Lovejoy, All Look Good When I'm Sober, which I'm actually, I really like the song. I will have to put it on my Lovejoy playlist. They're a indie rock band. And it kind of sounds like, so their last single was I actually, everyone else really liked, but I kind of hated, just because it was very much too poppy, and he kept going like this, and I was like, stop. So I was really glad when they kind of went back to their
don't do that too many times. You don't want to get copyright flagged.
Yeah. Okay. So now, if you like indie rock, you'll probably like that. We got 2 albums to talk about. We got the first album that I'm going to talk about is the new Biba Doobie album, and she is she's a indie pop artist, and she very much goes back to that
really, because she sounds like scat syllables.
Yeah, that early 2000s pop rock sound, that kind of Michelle Branch sound. And
well, I'll try that.
And I think this might be her best album. I really enjoyed this, and I've actually listened to it more than one time.
Wow.
And I listened to it for the first time a couple weeks ago.
Well, send me
I actually
that.
really liked this.
Send me that. I'll take a look at
But that is, what is that called again?
I'm like a closeted Michelle Branch fan. I like her a lot.
That is, This Is How Tomorrow Moves. So yeah, it's got some more. It's got some modern sensibilities sometimes, but it is mainly. I think this album does the most kind of like going back to like the 2000s.
So it's just chick with a guitar.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And you know, she gets very like somber, and she, you know, but then she has those kind of more upbeat songs. I think my favorite song from that album is probably Beaches, because that was the first song that I heard, because I listened to the EP first, because I didn't realize that it was a full album, and I just listened to the EP, and then I listened to the full album. It was great. And then we've got, I know everyone's really excited for this, we got the new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard album, Flight B something 2.
I am fascinated to listen to this.
Flight B741.
I haven't done it yet.
And it is good. It's obviously, I mean, this is probably the most upbeat King Gizzard album I've ever listened to. And I haven't listened to everything because this is like their 26th album or something.
It's nuts the way their quality keeps up with their output.
Yeah.
How many albums do they put out a year?
Like 3?
It's nuts.
And most of it is good.
Tell everybody what year that band started.
2011.
2011.
Well, and actually, their first studio album came out in 2012.
It's nuts. They have 26 albums.
Yeah.
When you look at their discography, it's just 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 12, 13, 13.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. They put out like 5 albums in 2017.
Anyway, real briefly, tell us what that's like.
It's kind of this like late 60s. It goes back to this like late 60s bluesy rock and roll type sound.
I can't even imagine that from them.
Yeah, and it's hilarious. I mean, lyrically,
this is the band that brought us Altered Beast.
Yeah. Lyrically, and every, I don't know if you know this, but every King Gizzard album sounds different. So, like, they have, like, a metal album.
Completely different?
And they have, yeah.
Okay, that means that the couple I listened to sounded close enough. I thought they had a sound.
Yeah, well, they do.
Okay.
They have that kind of, like, I don't know, like, that kind of closet sound. Or, like, basement sound that is the only
garage
thing.
Sound?
Yeah, that, like, garage sound.
You need to find a band that you can describe that as bathroom sound.
Yeah. Weezer? Okay,
Anyway, I gotta listen. So when you say late 60s, you mean like...
I mean,
not
like,
doo-wop-y.
No. I mean, like, it is rock. Like, it is, like, a very much, like, a classic rock sound. But it is...
That's cool.
But lyrically, it's hilarious. Like, there's, I don't know what they were thinking with some of these lyrics, but, it's this cross between, the themes are like a cross between airplanes with songs like Flight B741 and Sad Pilot, and animals, like, with songs like Rats in the Sky and Hog Calling Contest. So, yeah, my favorite song from this album is Daily Blues.
So they're trying to do their acid trip album.
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely sounds like that.
Okay.
It definitely sounds like that. But it sounds good.
Now I hear there were a lot of bands that were on acid sounding good. Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite song from this is Daily Blues, which is the last track, and it is 7 minutes and 42 seconds.
Well, sure. It's a King Gizzard song.
And it is really funny because it keeps stopping and starting and stopping and starting, and just there's it is also like really catchy, and it doesn't have a really annoying riff that goes da 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 da. So
that's great.
So overall, this month was pretty good. I think my favorite thing from this month was that Beeba Doobie album, though. So.
I gotta listen to that.
Yeah, I'll send you that.
Okay, so it was about 20 minutes.
Dang it!
No, it's all right.
I'm trying to keep it not 20 minutes.
I kept talking to you.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, let's go ahead and answer some super chats.
Super chats.
Appreciate you guys. We've still got some time, so feel free to throw more questions in if you want to. We'll hit the super chats. We'll go back to Patreon. We'll do a little pre-written. We'll hit more super chats if they come in, and then at the last, we might go a little longer than 2 hours tonight since that took a little bit. If that's cool with you, Jason, and we'll take 1 or 2 phone calls from you guys tonight. We'll open the phone lines.
Oh boy.
We'll open the one phone line. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. We got a $20 super chat from John Bradley, and it is their first super on a live stream.
Oh man, you know what
that means?
You know what that means?
I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take you for a ride. I wanna take
You're not going on an exciting enough ride with me, Jason.
I wanna take you for a ride.
We're gonna have to work on your taking us for a ride dance. It's too subtle.
See, well, the problem is I can't do the thing that DJ did because I don't have a rolly chair.
Oh yeah, because he'd spin around.
He would spin around and stuff, so I can't. He says, Jason, hi.
Oh, it's for you.
If you ever get around to reading the 90s Tim Drake run by Chuck Dixon, and I did talk about reading that and might start reading that,
Yeah,
you should look at the 3 Robin miniseries he did beforehand. Yes, I know about those, and I will probably read that.
Yeah, and I have those in singles.
Cool.
I want to say I have all of that. I at least have all of Robin 3, because that had the... Was that Joker's Wild? Or I can't remember now, but that had... I want to say... the playing card covers, the like lenticular or like holofoil covers. Those had really cool covers.
And he also says, also heads up, the ongoing Robin solo book starts in the middle of Azrael as Batman. So, yeah.
Yes, it does.
I knew it was around that era. I didn't know.
And Tim Drake has a lot to do during Nightfall.
Okay. I should probably just read Nightfall.
You should probably read that too, yeah.
Yeah.
You can start diving into all that stuff when you get done with Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
How close are you?
How close am I to what?
Finishing Cassandra Cain.
I haven't read in a while.
Oh, you haven't gotten back to it, okay.
So I'm still at like issue 40, I think.
You're halfway there.
Oh boy.
You're just over halfway there. Because we discovered on stream the other night when I was going through, because I'm going through my comics A to Z, and I've done 3 streams and I'm halfway through box number 2.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start picking up, but anyway, I went through all of Cassandra Cain on that stream, and I thought that series was 40 or 50, and it turns out it's 73. Kind of a random number to leave off on.
And then
I love all those morbid covers.
Yeah, I mean, Please Help Me Not to Die is like maybe the best comic cover.
It's really good.
It's one of my favorites.
Somebody should make an oversized poster of that.
Yeah.
I'd put that up somewhere.
Yeah. Heck, I'd put that in my room.
Yeah.
I already have bloody posters in my room.
That'd be
I have one.
That'd be one of your edgy emo teenager posters.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Is a 20-something-year-old Cassandra Cain Batgirl cover that says "Help me not to die."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Anyway.
But and then there was a volume 2 of Cassandra Cain Batgirl. There was only like 15.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And they're bringing it back.
Yeah. And there was also like the Batgirls series that was last year. I don't know if that's still ongoing.
Oh, there's so much stuff.
I think that's still ongoing.
I didn't even know about that.
But that's I think it's Cassandra Cain and what's her face spoiler and Stephanie Brown and Oracle. I think it's all 3 of their comic, but
okay. It's funny because
you
you also could have really easily just called that Birds of Prey, but sure.
Okay,
I think it's okay for Birds of Prey to have Batgirls.
No, but like I think they have
Batgirls.
they have 2 Batgirls. So.
Yeah. But with Oracle there, it's weird to have a team of Batgirls that's not Birds of Prey. Anyway.
And then we've got a super chat from James Egan.
Thanks, man.
Cap.
Hi.
Can you please review Curse and Beyond the White Knight? And also, is there any other comic writer that is that is as influential as Claremont was for X-Men on a character?
Wow. Well, first of all, as you probably know, we have a request here, but since you put in a $15 super chat and the request here is $15, I will go off book once again, like we did last week, and I will give you a request without having to go through Patreon. I'll go ahead and put it on the list. Now, once again, we've got a big backlog. So it'll be a few months, but I will put the first of those on the list. So I have reviewed the first White Knight book, but he wants the second and I guess the third. I wasn't even sure how many of those there were now. What was the first of those? Was it Curse of the White Knight or was it, I forget what he said.
Curse and Beyond the White Knight.
Yeah, Curse must be the second one. And this was, who is this again? This was James Egan. One second, guys. And I'll reread the first White Knight again because it's been a few years since I read that. We did that on the old Batmosphere show, and Dan's and I just absolutely adored it. What are you looking up?
This Batgirls thing.
Oh, okay. As far as your... So yes, I will do that that second one at the very least, and it's on the list here. Yeah, it's hard to say with the Claremont thing, like who else is as influential on a single character or property as Claremont with X-Men, because are we talking about sheer volume and time somebody was on the book? Are we talking about amount of like characters and stories and things that we continue to permeate that we can't get away from? Are we just talking flavor? When you look at Claremont and you look at the breadth of material that he did, the sheer length of time that he was working on X-Men, and the fact that he created a gigantic percentage of the characters that you know and love from that series past the original X-Men. I mean, he created the majority of it. Yeah, there's probably not anybody that holds a candle to that besides creators of things, of course, that stayed on their own book for a long time. You know what I mean? Your Eastman and Laird's, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Like anybody that made a book, and Stan Sakai, anybody that made a book and hung on to it. But as far as somebody that came in to especially like a big 2 book later and hung on it, I think you could make an argument for Walt Simonson on Thor. Mm-hmm. Because he worked on that book for a good solid decade, and a lot of the mythology that he brought to it is the foundation for much of what we've done with Thor since then. And since him, really only Jason Aaron has had anything close to the kind of footprint that he has. And I wouldn't put him up with Simonson, of course. But Simonson is also... You see why it's a sticky question, Jason? Because Simonson is also working within a pre-established mythology. So he creates some characters, but he also builds and brings in like Norse, like more Norse characters.
Yeah. That
exist in that mythology.
Yeah.
So it would... I don't think there's anybody that's created as many characters as Claremont has for anything.
Right.
And then the other name I would throw out, of course, just as far as like, if we're talking pure influence, the way he put the question, if I can ignore number of years and number of characters and just say the flavor of a thing that we cannot get away from, like changed what the property is, and forevermore, that's more or less what we keep doing with it, or at least we always go back with it. It's Frank Miller's Daredevil.
Yeah, and that's what everyone's saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wasn't even looking at the comments.
And Goofster says Dennis O'Neil for Batman, maybe.
Yeah. And Morrison for Batman for some folks too. Like that's but the thing is, anybody that comes in on Batman and has as big of a footprint as those guys did, there's always still other takes of it that get away from that at the same time. But that's also partly just because Batman's so popular. He's always got multiple books with multiple conflicting takes sometimes happening at the same time.
Well, I mean, really, so did X-Men, though.
really interesting that, yeah, but not usually conflicting takes. When you had a bunch of X books at the same time while Claremont was there, they all looked like Claremont stuff. Or at least they felt enough in line with that. I'm not saying we never got away from that. But it's interesting that you had like Morrison at the same time as Paul Dini in the 2000s, and they were just doing two polar opposite kind of feels with Batman. And Dini's is closer to O'Neill.
Mm-hmm. And okay, great. Asks, what about Bendis on Daredevil?
I mean, I would say that Bendis's Daredevil is like an extension of what Miller is doing, where like he definitely has his own take on it, but he's using Miller as the foundation for it. So I could see the argument for taking those two guys as a pair with that, but I think they're equally, at the very least, they're equally important, if not Miller like slightly more so, even if Bendis had probably more years on the material. I'm not even sure about that. I think he has more issues overall, and he definitely created a lot of stuff. Maybe it's a tie with those guys. I don't know. I mean, that is a terrific point, sure. You could also argue that Bendis. Okay, I'll throw a couple of other things out at you too. You could also argue that Bendis's influence with Spider-Man is massively important.
Yeah.
Because we keep going back to Ultimate stuff with extra media, and because Bendis created Miles Morales. And for better or worse, unfortunately, you might have to also, at least for today, put Dan Slott's name in the ring with Spider-Man. Because a lot of what he did, and to me, it's some of it is like kind of damage to the character, but a lot of what he did, we cannot get away from now. He creates Spider-Verse. He does all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, excellent question.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, really good question.
I'm excited to see what you have to say about this.
Yeah.
We got $5 from Goofster123.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Speaking of bat symbols.
Oh, boy.
Are you going to get the new bat symbol popcorn bucket? It looks neat.
All right, so...
Okay, so I haven't actually seen this.
So I don't know what I think about this whole popcorn bucket meme thing. Do you know about this?
Well, yeah. People like popcorn buckets.
So Deadpool and Wolverine put out these preposterous popcorn buckets.
Yes.
Because of the Dune popcorn bucket. Which everybody said looked really, really gross and creepy and sexual, and then Deadpool comes out and goes, "Well, we'll have a really creepy Wolverine face that you put your hand in," and that was odd. And now it seems like that's turning into a thing.
A thing, yeah.
It's becoming a craze, if you will, and it seems like a lot of movies are probably going to start doing this, just these absurd, expensive popcorn buckets to top the last one, just to see how insanely expensive and elaborate these things can get. And Robert showed me this. I didn't even know about this. He sent me a picture of this a few days ago, and I was complaining about this trend, and he was like, "Well, I mean, how else are we going to keep the movie theaters open?" And he's got an excellent point with that. So this is what it looks like. And so AMC put this out.
I don't understand where you put the popcorn.
Exactly. It's a bat signal that is somehow a popcorn bucket. I don't know where the popcorn goes. Now, I think this released at $35, so when you see the $70 price tag, I think that's kind of scalping it. I think this is people on eBay buying things and hawking it up and hoping that there's little enough supply right now that people will pay because of the demand.
You shoot the light at the wall and then popcorn appears on the wall.
Yeah, I need to watch a breakdown of this. I mean, here's a review. Should we look at a couple of seconds of this and see if maybe this shows us where the popcorn goes in? Maybe this will help me decide if I'm going to get one. I'm certainly not going to pay $60 or $70 for it. I'm not looking at the audio. I'm not listening to the audio yet. I kind of just so it does in fact light up, and
cool.
and it looked like it did.
Okay, but how is it a popcorn bucket?
I like the design of the bat signal.
That's cool.
No, it's cool. And the thing is, there hasn't really been a great bat signal like this. That's this size. So I kind of want it. By the way, I'm liking this guy's collection, and I've got things he has. That Keaton Batman there, I have. This is, by the way, I should credit this because I'm playing somebody's video here, but this is Raphael Sejiman, 133,000 subscribers on YouTube. Where does the popcorn go in?
I don't understand.
He's not even telling us where the popcorn goes in.
At this bad boy right here, it's got a little bit of a smudge on there. Right here, we are taking a look at the brand new. I believe this is just exclusive to AMC theaters. We are taking a look at the popcorn bucket bat signal.
Yeah.
Now, according to my buddy T3 Collects, this is actually a re-release. I don't know what this is limited to. If it
Weird.
AMC. Oh, it is exclusive to AMC. Batman 85 years. And then you have like the so you can see there's a top.
This guy's
so it's
good
got some
review.
sculpting here. And this does
top.
have articulation. So you can move it up.
But
and down,
but it doesn't even look big
it
enough
is
to put
unfortunate
popcorn
that
in.
it doesn't rotate. And then again, there's the logo right there. So let's go ahead and pull the tab.
Okay.
Turn it on. Let's look at the
Yeah,
reflection on
you
the
just-
on the Detolf case in front. Bam. Probably because my lights are too bright. We're gonna show this with the lights off, anyways. Oh yeah, look at that. You
you
can't
just
see
take
it like
the-
I see it because I have all
Okay.
the lights on. But let's turn off some of the lights.
Can you
in here.
imagine going to a theater and using this? Like in a movie theater?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you take the top off.
So,
and then
oh, I see. Okay, Jason's got a picture
I've
here.
got a picture, but
That didn't come up in our pictures. That we
I had to
looked
search
at.
for it. Like I had to really. Took me a minute.
Yeah, crazy. Here, I'll just write open and see if we can see one with the top off. Okay, well, anyway,
didn't
I
work
don't want to
out.
spend too much time on this. Oh yeah, look at this one.
Okay, great. It says popcorn sold separately.
Well, yeah, I should hope so, especially if I buy it on the line.
For $70?
So the answer, real quick, to your question is now that I've seen a review of it, yeah, I want one.
It's cool.
Well, what's nice about it is no one would ever know it was a popcorn bucket, and I wouldn't get it for that. I would get it because it looks like it goes down here. I mean, like it needs to be in with my Batman stuff in the bunker. So I will try to get a better deal on it than $70. But yes, I'm gonna go after that, but not because it's for popcorn.
Right. I think it
And
would just be a cool.
It doesn't even
Batman
look
light.
big enough to put much popcorn in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Am I wrong?
mean, I don't know. Let's get some Patreon questions.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah, because we've only got 20 minutes until 2 hours, but we will go a little bit late tonight.
If you guys have any more questions or super chats, we got 20 minutes.
So last call for those.
Yes.
Because we do want to take a call or two at the end of the show.
Yes, I also forgot about that.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
let's do one or two Patreon. Well, do we have enough time to knock them all out? I mean, like how many more did we have?
Maybe. I mean,
you
we
said
have
3.
We have 3, and they are all about. I think things that we have a quick answer for.
Okay, good. Well, let's get rolling. Let's
The
see if we can-
Amalgamation. What is your experience
Get 'em
with
rolling.
anything Resident Evil? It's comics, manga, live action films, CGI animation, movies, or games, of course.
Yeah, not a big franchise for me. When I was younger, like a lot of people, I tried to play one of the early games, and I just couldn't really get anywhere because those early games have the tank controls, and so it's a lot of. Am I remember that? That's Resident Evil, right?
I think that is Resident
Where like you pull your gun up and then you move like this
Yeah.
before you can shoot it. Yeah.
Yes.
I did have a really good Resident Evil rail shooter on the Wii that I liked a lot. I mean, I still have it. I haven't played it in a long time. I want to say that was. I want to say it had Umbrella in the title. I could be wrong. I forget what that was called. And as far as the movies go, I've seen one of them, and I could not begin to tell you which one it was. I don't
Or
remember.
what happened in
Or
it.
what happens in it. It had the Hispanic cop lady from Lost in it.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's all I remember about that movie. And I remember not thinking it wasn't very good. Nobody complains those movies aren't very good, so I've never bothered with them. But for some reason, I saw that one. I don't know why.
Well, and you didn't even get that far on Video Game Movie Mania.
Right.
Mania, so.
And at some point, we'll go back and do some select movies with that, probably. There just wasn't enough interest in that idea that we...
And I might come on for those, because I wasn't invited.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't know what was going on there, but...
That's a good point. Well, you weren't doing as much on the channel in general right then.
That's true.
And a lot of the movies that are on that list are things that that at the time would have been, like rated R and too hardcore for you to see. As you're getting older, a lot more of them I would let you do now.
Yeah.
So
I want to see House of the Dead.
Yeah, and John wants to do that with us.
Oh man.
Because he's seen that. All right. What else do you have?
Okay. I have Sega. Tariq.
What does Sega want to know?
Something about Tariq. Okay. He asks Jason.
Was that Sakib?
Sakib.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Long-time patron.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Jason, have you ever tried out the Mass Effect game/comics? No, but it is a series that I am interested in because it seems like my kind of thing.
I've got the first 2 games.
Okay. Have you played them?
I have attempted them. I can't get anywhere. I'm terrible at those kind of games.
Because they're space shooters, right? Or like shooters that are set in space.
They're shooting elements, certainly. They are action RPGs.
Okay. I might try. Seem like my kind of thing.
And
if we already
everybody
have
talks
them,
about how, Star Trek inspired the world building is.
Yeah.
And it's a thing I need to know more about, and I just have not been able to get anywhere.
Yeah.
In those.
And then our last Patreon
question. I suck
question.
at video games. Yeah.
Our last Patreon question is from Slipmaker.
Another Slipmaker question.
Yes. Did you ever play City of Heroes back in the day? Been playing lately after fans rebooted the servers. Would love to know what sort of characters you built and what their lore was if you did.
It's cool they did that. When I was a kid, that always looked really appealing, and I never had a machine that could run that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they put those on Mac, but at the point where I had a machine that would have been capable of running, games like that, it wasn't a PC, and a lot of games didn't run on the Mac I had. And then before that, I just didn't have a computer that was good enough to, run current games like that. What's interesting though is, so I've never played that. I know what it is. It's also an RPG. It's like, I think it's like you create characters, and it's sort of an open world thing. But one of the earliest interviews I did on the channel on the old Comic Book Late Night show was with one of the developers of that game.
Oh. And you hadn't even played it?
And it was one of those situations where because he wasn't brought on to promote those games, because it was well after those, and it was one of those situations where, at least according to him, he was early on in development with that game, and then at some point ran out of the company for some reason. It was that kind of thing. Okay. And he was writing novels, and wrote a novel about, get this, and I just found this on a whim, counterfeit CGC making. He wrote a novel about people that would print that started this like counterfeit criminal operation where they would make their own comics to try to look like real classic, like Silver Age, Golden Age key issues, and then put them in, make them look like CGC, and then sell them at like really, really high dollar values. And it was a really neat book. And I read it, and I reached out to him, and I brought him on to talk about that. And then I found out through that interview that that's who he was.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to
Slipmaker just popped into the chat.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's up?
Do you want to go to pre-written?
Yeah, let's do a pre-written question.
Pre-written question.
And then we'll open up the phones to anybody that would like to chat with us.
Question from Bob Garland.
Yeah.
Hey, Cap.
Hi.
Considering Smallville was a big updating of the Superman mythology, do you find it weird Lobo never appeared? And how do you think Smallville would adapt Lobo?
That's a good question. Now that you say that, it is kind of odd that they never did Lobo. That seems like a season 10 choice. The silly answer I'm going to give is all of their alien stuff was Kryptonian.
Yeah.
So if they'd done Lobo, he would have been from Krypton. Mm-hmm. It would have been another Kryptonian.
Well, and you said that he's hilarious in Krypton, right?
He's great in Krypton, yeah. But no, I'm with you. I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't do that. I don't know exactly what their take would have been.
Yeah.
Like, I want to think that, by the time they would have gotten to him, because there's no way they would have ever thought to do Lobo until they were doing just the grander DC Universe stuff in the last couple seasons of that show. So I bet they would have tried to play him at least visually as kind of off the page, whether it looked kind of cheap or not. But I have no idea what kind of story they would have attempted to tell with that.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been like a... Yeah, I could have seen them doing some sort of 2-part, like, alien invasion thing with him or something. I feel like it would have had to be a sort of larger story.
Yeah.
Because they never did a story with Clark going out into space or anything. So he'd have to come here.
Right.
He also could have been in the Phantom Zone, though. They could have done that. Mm. But they weren't doing a lot of the grander DC superhero or supervillain characters in season 6 when they did all the Phantom Zone stuff. Like, they started doing more of it just after that. Mm. But I still think that would have been more of a season 9, season 10 sort of thing.
Yeah.
They would have found some way to make it ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Lobo would have a pretty silly costume though.
It would have looked like a Halloween costume.
It would have, yeah. I feel like he
would have had like trash bag pants.
Yeah.
So we're going to open the phones here in a second. A quick plug, speaking of Smallville, once again, for the Saturday stream, we're going to be watching Smallville Season 6, which I just alluded to, all day long, John and I, from 10 o'clock Central Time in the morning, 10 a.m., all the way to 9 or 10 in the evening. We're going to do the first 12 episodes, or at least the first half of the season, however that breaks down. I guess those are 22 episode seasons, so we'll do the first 10 or 11. And then we'll try to come back with the next couple 3 weeks to do the other half. I won't be able to do it the very next Saturday, but that's how we're going to do those from now on. Is there's still going to be like 24-hour streams, but we're going to cheat and we're going to split them up into 2 streams. So we're not up all night, because I just got to where I couldn't deal with that anymore. But yeah, let's go ahead and open the phones up now. Here comes the phone number. You can call us, and first come, first serve. We'll, just like with Super Chats, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about with us, but you'll actually be on the line to ask a question and have a little 3-4 minute discussion with us. And here is the phone number. It's 913-717-6152.
And don't forget to switch the audio over.
I just did that.
Oh boy.
I'm opening it up for you right now, so I can receive calls right now. And the only thing I gotta do is flip this. There we go. Okay, so now we'll actually be able to take calls. We don't have a big crowd right now, or not as big as we did earlier, so I don't know how many takers we'll get on this, Jason.
Yeah.
But we'll wait a couple of minutes and see if anybody calls in, and then it'll be real embarrassing if nobody does it.
Yeah, wow.
It'll be, our segment will be, we sat around and waited for a phone call that we never got.
Yeah.
But we believe in you. We always have.
Yeah, we always have.
Oh, and here comes a call already, Jason. Here we go. Let's see who it is.
Call from. To accept, press 1.
Should we answer a call from dead air?
Yeah, oh shit.
Hi, how's it going? You're live on the Captain Logan Show.
Oh, hello.
Who am I talking to?
Brayden.
Brayden! Did you call us last time?
Yes, I did.
I thought so. How you doing, man?
All right. I've been working in the chat this stream.
You've been working where now?
Lurking, like.
Oh, lurking. I'm sorry. I thought you said.
Sorry.
Jason, I thought he said he was working in a shack. Thanks for calling us direct from the shack. Braden, what would you like to talk about this evening, sir?
Oh man.
He doesn't know. He just
Yeah.
wanted to hear his voice.
I didn't know if I would get the call or not, and
didn't really think this through, did you?
God, I think. I just want.
Take your time, man. It's all right.
Yeah.
Jason, I have days where I feel like I've worked all day in the shack.
Yeah, I can. If someone else wants to go, I can leave.
Well, I mean, thanks for the call. Hey, did you just hang up? I was hung up. I was gonna ask him a question. That's all right. I was giving him a minute. Okay. Well, the phone line is open. We had another one that was starting to come in while I threw Braden off with the shack thing. Oh, that was wonderful. I'll never forget about that. That was the best. He's also never going to call back.
No, he's never going to call back.
No, I hope he does.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep the phone line
Braden.
open for a second. Yeah, no apologies. I didn't have my audio up high enough and I couldn't hear what he said. I want the popcorn
Dad,
bucket.
what are your thoughts on the 1990 Captain America movie?
Oh, well, I've crystallized my thoughts quite a bit on that.
Is it good?
It's not great.
Okay.
It's not great. That's
Call
a great
from
way to stall out there. Wow, cinematographic. Yeah, that was very dramatic.
Yeah.
Hi there, you're on the live with the Captain Logan show. How's it going?
It's going okay. Question.
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
Have you, by any chance, had a chance to play the story for RoboCop Rogue City?
No, I haven't. Thanks for reminding me. So I don't have a system that'll play that game, and I could potentially play it on PC. We had a viewer that actually offered me a download code for that, which was really cool of him, and I have forgotten to take him up on that. So I will get to that at some point. Austin adores it.
Really?
Yeah. What did you think of it?
Well, I've mostly been watching the walkthroughs. I don't actually own a physical copy of the game, but I've just been looking at it for the story to see how it holds up.
And you don't think it's working, or?
I'm sorry?
And so, like, do you not like it? Do you not think it's working, or?
It's certainly something. It strikes me. It strikes me as what would have been the sequel to the first or second RoboCop.
Okay.
People are saying that it's what RoboCop 3 should have been. I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Well, I mean, I feel like nearly anything's got to be better than RoboCop 3.
I'm mostly indifferent when it comes to RoboCop 3.
At any point in that game, do you get to put on a jetpack? Because that'd be fun.
I don't believe that there's a jetpack.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil it for myself. I really want to play through that at some point. So I haven't watched anything on it yet.
I won't talk too much about the story.
Oh, sure. I'm just saying that's why I haven't looked at it yet. Like, I guess I could have done that, but I don't really want to.
Okay.
Well, when I finally look at it, we'll have to talk about it. It sounds like you're chomping at the bit to discuss some aspect of this.
Well, I'm surprised that you said that Austin likes it. I'm surprised he likes anything.
I can understand what you'd say. I mean, Austin likes all kinds of stuff. He just has very different sensibilities from me, which is why he's fun to work with. Because
it's like, you know, you don't like a thing. Well, and it's cool when you guys both do like a thing.
Yeah, very often it's for somewhat different reasons. But Austin likes, you know, a lot of bad stuff. You know, kind of ironically.
Right.
He's definitely a bad movie guy.
Yeah, I wonder if he likes that.
Not that he doesn't like good movies either, but I don't think it's fair to say Austin doesn't like anything. I also love that we're just talking about him when he's not here. It's fantastic.
Huh. Well, I gotta go. I've been trying to get this top 10 video out for the last 2 years, and I'm
for 2 years. What are you making a top 10 video about?
It's I don't want to. Well, it's a video I've been trying to get out for. I've only just now started adding the clips for it.
Okay, what's it about though?
It's a top 10 worst movies list.
Just of all time. Like of any genre.
Well, that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
It's a top 10 worst. There are some runner-ups,
it's
but
a secret.
Yeah.
Well, send it to me when you get it done.
I might have to split it in several parts. It's very long. The audio is very long.
Well, I know a thing or two about that.
All right.
Well, thanks for calling, man.
No problem.
I will take a look at RoboCop when I can. I'm more intrigued now. After this call. Thanks, man.
No problem.
All right, see you later. Okay, we'll take one more.
One more.
Because we said we'd go past 2 hours just a little bit. So if anybody else wants to call, feel free. You know what I thought he was going to say at the end there? Making a top 10 video is the last thing I thought he would say.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say he's been working in a shack all day.
Oh.
That's where I thought that was going.
Yeah.
Dan's Den says Lobo would have assumed human form in Smallville. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, he already looks kind of humanish, though. I feel like they still would have given him his look, probably. It just probably wouldn't have looked all that good. All right, one more.
From
Checkers, the inventor.
Oh, no, it's Checkers!
To accept, press 1. To send a...
Checkers!
Hey, Cap, what's up?
Hey, you are live on the Captain Logan show. It's nice to hear your voice, man. I haven't talked to you in forever.
Yeah, I think it was me getting defeated against the Day Ghost on your game show.
What's up, man?
I'm just joining, actually. I missed your show, sorry. I just saw that you were taking call-in, so I said, hey, I'll give it a go.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. You didn't bother to watch, and now you're part of the show.
That's me. Yeah, I'll
that?
Go back. I'll watch it later.
Checkers, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Real quick, before
right.
before you bring up anything, I have one question for you. Have you been working in a shack all day?
Working in a shack? No.
Oh, okay. What have you been doing?
Do I sound like it?
No. Somebody called at the start of the call-in segment. And I couldn't understand what they said. And I thought he said he was working in a shack all day. And then I completely threw him off. He couldn't come up with a question, and he hung up.
Well, I got worried I have, labored breathing.
No.
Do I sound like I've been working all day?
No, you do not sound like you've been in a shack all day. If you have, you're hiding it exceptionally well.
I know, yeah. Maybe I have, and you just... Maybe he was. Maybe that's what's going on.
It's hard to think of a good question when you've been working at a shack all day. Yeah. Anyway, Checkers, what would you like to talk about, sir?
I guess I've been wondering. I don't know if you've ever mentioned this. Do you have have you ever done like a top 5 or top 10 favorite adaptations of like your favorite superheroes, like Batman or Superman, like specific in other media like television, films, and so forth?
No, that's a really good idea. Although, Jason, I wanted to lie and tell him, yes, I have. I've been working on it for 2 years.
I did hear that.
That's what I wanted to tell him.
Well, maybe what his list was like the worst years, and he has to wait until the year is over to include it.
Oh, sure. That'd be a reason to wait around. It sounds like he's just writing a mammoth of a script.
Yeah.
For a top 10, and I mean that would be a pretty good video.
So like Checkers
could be worse.
Sorry,
go ahead. I was just saying, could be worse presidents. He could be waiting till the administration's over, just in case. That was not a political statement. I just meant in general.
It could be worse. His nose could be gushing blood.
Checkers, what I love about this idea is how long I could milk it for a series.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
there's so many.
There's so much history now. Yeah, a long time ago, Jason, I considered doing a video going through like every actor that had voiced or acted a role, and those kind of exist now. People make those. So I don't know that I would have a ton to contribute, because that would be more of kind of a history video or something. But this would be more opinion based. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, it's very much it's the adaptation. I don't like when they have lists of like the top 10 actors, and they'll have like Kevin Conroy in 1, but then 2 will be like Michael Keaton, and I'm like, how are you comparing a voice actor to a physical actor? To me, they're two different things, and it bothers me when they. I like them being separate. Like there's unless you're specifically talking about his Arrowverse live action scene.
Yeah,
but I don't think anyone would have him at 1 for that. But no, so I'm fine. I think he's like Conroy would be the definitive voice of Batman, but to me it would be like you'd be separating his Arkham version and then his animated series version, and finding like which is the best of all the movies, all the TV. And I find that it's always interesting because so many people they'll say The Dark Knight is their favorite Batman movie, but I've actually seen this lately. Like a lot of people are like, yeah, but Christian Bale is my favorite Batman. Like I like the Joker of that movie, but I think he's okay as Batman. But my favorite Batman is Val Kilmer or something like that. So it's interesting. People kind of assume like, oh, it's your favorite movie, so that would be your favorite Batman. But that's not always true for people.
That's such a good point, and I guess I fell into that trap because I kind of misunderstood the question. I thought you were talking more like casting choices, but you're saying so when you say ranking adaptations, so you think that it's fair to compare live action to animated when we're talking about the whole product?
Well, yeah. So, like, you could say
you would have to do that,
or just the version of the character. So
I could say the animated series Batman's my favorite Batman. I like it better than the Snyderverse Batman. But I wouldn't say like, oh, I like Kevin Conroy's performance better than Ben Affleck, because they're two different types of performance. Yeah, it's not fair, and I think people do it because it's like Kevin Conroy's voice is so definitive that it's like, oh, that's the best Batman. And the really annoying thing, and you see this everywhere, like if you look it up online, they'll only have him. Like they'll have like all the live action, and then they'll put Kevin Conroy. But then it's like, well, what about all the other voice actors? Like, do they not count? Why would he be the only one that counts?
Yeah, because they didn't watch any of those other shows, and they probably haven't seen that in 20 years either.
Of course, yeah, and it gets at a certain point, it's like, well, what are you even comparing now?
Where's Brave and the Bold? Like, that guy's great.
Yeah, well, he's still doing it in that Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, well, and he's in Caped Crusader too.
Yeah, not as Batman though.
No. Oh, is he? That's right. He is Batman in that show, isn't he? I forgot.
No, he's not. I said he's in the Harley Quinn show.
I forgot all about that. Yeah, no, he's Two-Face, and he disappears completely.
Oh, is he Two-Face?
Yeah. He's Two-Face.
Oh.
No, that's a terrific idea. I will definitely kick that around.
Yeah, well, I think for like we've been all watching for so long, I've always wondered. I think I'm pretty high on the Nolan Batman. I like his. I think he's, to me, his Bruce Wayne is different than other Bruce Waynes. I always think of him as three characters. Usually they'll say like Batman's the true face, Bruce Wayne's the mask. I think there's like a third persona, which is like the true Bruce Wayne. He's got like the facade version, and then the Bruce Wayne, and then the Batman. I sort of think of him as three, and I like his Bruce Wayne a lot. I think his Batman. Well, I think like there's a line in the Batman Begins, I think, where Rachel says like, this is your true face. I never really bought that like Batman was his true face.
No, me neither.
I
thought
always
they
felt like
changed
his
that
Batman
interpretation after that for Dark Knight. That's not really what it is in. Although I don't feel like that's exactly what it is through Begins either. I feel like that idea is tacked on at the end because it's classic.
Yeah, right. Because it seems like he's when he's Batman, he's putting, even the character's like putting on a performance to be Batman. He does this voice and he's acting a certain way. Whereas like if you watch the animated series, like he's talking in, he's Batman when he's talking to Alfred, like that's who he really is. And then the Bruce Wayne is like the facade when he's out in public and he has to keep up appearances. The Pattinson, like Batman is his true persona right now.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the more traditional thing. I've always thought of Batman that way. No, the idea of looking at it as three faces is smart. I think you're onto something with that. Because I've always thought of it as just there's Bruce Wayne and he puts on Batman as a persona, and but Bruce Wayne is actually the real guy, and especially when you get into Dark Knight, because he wants to at some point retire Batman. And so, but you give it this kind of nuance of, but what about when he is in public doing the Playboy thing?
Yeah, that's like a total performance, right? That's not him at all.
Yeah, exactly. So the real Bruce Wayne is when he's with Alfred or when he's with Rachel.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And and to that, and like it's not traditional, but I cared about his character.
Yeah,
he got me to care about it. And I didn't, like, if Ben Affleck's Batman, I guess he did die in flesh, but nobody cared. Like, nobody's like, oh man, he's gone.
Yeah, as far as this is an idea for videos, Jason, it kind of sounds like a tier list thing.
Yeah, kind of.
And I mean, you probably wouldn't rank everything that ever existed, but you take like the big ones.
Yeah, maybe like maybe a few of like the direct-to-video animated ones that people know, and then you I just don't know how many people know about like the serials that came out. They're usually ranked pretty low, but does anybody even watch those anymore?
Well, I've always wanted to do something on those, and I've just never gotten around to it. But like, and if you wanted to actually rank them, I feel like I could do a solid 20 for Batman.
Yeah, well, and for Superman, like I love the Fleischer version because it's very basic and stripped down, but I think that version warrants, an actual consideration.
Yeah,
whereas a lot of
on that list somewhere.
A lot of the early serials for most superhero characters are very, very crude, and they haven't really figured the character out. But I feel like that was like that's a meat and potatoes, like that's the basic Superman. So I like that. I think that would definitely be considered one of my favorites.
No,
probably my favorite.
And real quick before I let you go, what would be fun about doing it with Superman also is, as of late, there are like newer continuities I actually like it and am invested in. So like that's a longer list now than it was even 3 years ago, because I would now have to consider Superman and Lois, and I would have to consider my Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, it's only growing. So yeah, it's very cool. It would be interesting, I think.
Well, Checkers, it's great to hear from you, man.
Yeah. Good luck with everything you're doing moving forward in the movie, of course. That's gonna be very exciting.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a bunch.
Yep. Thanks.
Talk to you later. All right, well, folks, we sure appreciate you tuning in to tonight's episode of the Captain Logan Show. We will do this call-in thing again down the line. Jason, I'm thinking every few shows.
Yeah.
We'll take calls like that. I think that's really fun. And you finally got to do it.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Well, Jason, do you have any final words of wisdom before we finish up the show tonight? You gotta say something really profound and meaty that'll make everybody really, like...
Really think about it?
Yeah. No pressure.
Oh, gosh. Just remember, people, never play Guitar Hero on a DS.
We'll see you next time. That's excellent. That's fantastic. Hey, if you are so inclined, I'm going to be streaming again in half an hour over on Patreon for Geeklution After Dark, and I'll just be hanging out with Brandon and Austin talking about things we don't always talk about on the channel. And in the meantime, once again, I was Captain Logan, and this was Jason.
That was me.
And I'll see you with lots more streams here on Geeklution. Bye, everybody.